Okay? Well, that's what the protests are about on campus.
No.
And
No. The other thing that I love seeing is I love seeing these Zionist newscasters getting called out for their bullshit.
Hi, my name is Liz Holzman. I'm a member of this community, and I want to tell you that I'm really upset at what I perceive to be the conflation of anti-Semitism. This is not true, and that is very anti-Semitic, and that is very what I perceive to be the conflation of anti-Semitism. This is not true.
So she says, I'm very upset at what seems to be the conflation between anti-Semitism and Zionism. And this is very not fair. That is anti-Semitic, which it is true. If you are saying that my political ideology represents all groups of a certain ethnicity, then you are getting people prejudiced against that ethnicity, and you are just lying. Like if I claim to be someone who's talking about all white people, and all white people believe that you should put mayonnaise on your bread and eat that before you go to bed every night, that's like pretty stupid, and it could be hard. It's not even as bad as saying that all white people need to move into Egypt and reclaim their ancestral homeland in the Fertile Crescent. That's essentially what Israel's doing, right? That's what Zionism is.
And that is very anti-Semitic and very dangerous to our Jewish community and our Jewish values.
So if you do research Zionism, you can find that when the idea of Zionism was really picking up, there was a lot of pushback from Jewish communities, because the Jewish communities did not want to be otherized. They did not want to be isolated from their non-Jewish neighbors by the idea that they have this like God-given right that non-Jews don't have. The people that pushed Zionism knew that by creating these essentially fake boundaries between Jews and non-Jews, they were creating conflict between Jews and their non-Jewish neighbors, and thus that conflict would make it harder for the Jewish people to live in those neighborhoods, and it would create a pressure to get the Jews that were living in peace, that were assimilated with their neighbors and in their countries, like were citizens of their countries, to want to leave those countries now and go to Israel. Zionism is both a prescription and it is a symptom that causes what it wants to have happen. It creates pressures that force Jewish people to leave their homeland to come to this new foreign place, and because they feel like they cannot be safe anywhere else.
When you do that...
Also, look at Dana Bash's face. She is pissed right now. She was not wanting this to happen.
I just don't know if you understand that you are being a mouthpiece for the genocide in Gaza.
Okay, so what did this lady say? She said that you should not conflate Zionism with anti-Semitism, and you are being a mouthpiece for the genocide that's happening in Gaza. Because, of course, if you criticize Israel, and Israel is definitively Zionistic, that's how it defines itself. If you criticize Israel, you are being anti-Semitic. Thus, they have like a deflection for any kind of criticism that's going against them.
That is wrong. Genocide is the most anti-Semitic thing.
Oh my God. This sweet old lady who has done nothing but speak very slowly, very clearly, and in a super calm tone, not confrontational whatsoever. She has said that genocide is wrong. Genocide is the most anti-Semitic thing you can do because Jewish people were genocided, right? So we should try to honor the memories of people that were genocided by preventing genocide from happening. And I was reading this article about Dana Bash, and apparently she was Jewish. And it says Bash's maternal grandmother, Terry Vidor Weinman, and her family were Hungarian Jews. Weinman escaped to the U.S. with her husband in October 1941, but her parents and her sister were murdered at Auschwitz concentration camp after the occupation of Hungary in 1944. So Dana Bash's great grandmother and her great great aunt were murdered in concentration camps for being Jewish. So she literally has family that died in concentration camps in a genocide. She should be fighting against this genocide too. And what does she do when this sweet old lady says that genocide is the most anti-Semitic thing you can do? She purses her lips and turns away.
Out there. This woman is 90 years old. She's a
Nice. She tracks it out. Look at her eyes. She's like, get me out of this. She's like looking off into the distance. Oh, I don't want to be here right now. And I think that little eye motion did work, because one of Dana's aides comes over and saves her ass too.
This woman is
Tracks her
90
down.
years old. She's a Holocaust survivor. She stands outside
Oh my God, Dana Bash is done with this conversation, man.
the White House every single day because she lost people in the Holocaust, and she's aware that what is going on now is a Holocaust. Do you have an answer for me? I'd really like to know.
Okay, I'm not here to debate. I will just say one thing.
The woman wasn't asking you to debate. She was simply confronting you with extremely basic facts that you should know as a journalist. All right, but Dana Bash says she's going to say one thing, so let's see what that thing is.
Okay. Being anti-Israel, anti-Israeli government is not anti-Semitic.
Okay.
So she says she was going to say anti-Zionism is not being anti-Semitic, but she stopped herself because she wants to reserve that right to criticize people that are accusing her of being Zionistic, right? Everyone wants to play the victim, even when you're like one of the most powerful journalists in the entire country, and being that country is the United States, the world too. But she wants to play the victim, and she does not like it when people call her Zionist. And I have seen this clip before. I believe she talks about how she had protesters outside her window calling her Zionist, and that really hurt her feelings.
Okay. Well, that's what the protests are about on campus.
No.
And you
No.
You cited them several times. I have been to those protests.
Have you been to the ones at my house where they?
Have you been to the ones at my house? Man, if this old lady said yes, that would have been hilarious, because then Dana Bash would be like, oh shit, she's a real one. Also, like, she's saying that, have you been to the ones by my house? Like, these people at my house are harassing me, essentially. And what if the old lady said yes? Yeah, I have been harassing you.
They call me Zionist trash.
Okay, so notice how this woman, first of all, confronts Dana Bash with the idea that Zionism is not anti-Semitic. Saying that someone is Zionist is not saying that they are Jewish, and criticizing someone for being Zionist is not the same as being anti-Semitic towards that person, because obviously non-Jewish people can be Zionist. So this woman confronts her and says Zionism is not anti-Semitic. Dana Bash says, I think it's fine to criticize Israel. And the woman's like, okay, well, that's what people are doing when they're calling for like the end of Zionism. And then Dana Bash says, but have you been to the protest by my house where they call me Zionist trash? Lady, it's okay. Your feelings are hurt. That's fine. You're not engaging with this woman's point.
I'm not here to debate. I will just say one thing. Being anti-Israel, anti-Israeli government is not anti-Semitic.
Okay. Well, that's what the protests are about on campus.
No.
And you cited them several times. I have been to those protests.
Have you been to?
Why is she getting so mad when they're saying that the protests? Okay, also, this woman is saying that the protests on college campuses are about Israel and like the Israeli government, right? That's objective. And Dana Bash even just said that it's okay if you criticize Israel and the Israeli government. So Dana says it's okay to criticize Israel and the Israeli government. And the woman's like, well, the protests on college campuses are about that. While the woman's saying that, Dana Bash is saying, no, you're wrong. You're wrong. The protests on the college campuses are anti-Semitic. And then, but she's not able to stop the woman from completing her thought. The woman completes her thought saying that that's what the protests on college campuses are about. And immediately Dana Bash goes to, well, have you been to the protest by my house? So Dana Bash is attacking the college campus protests, but then she retreats to, well, they're personally attacking me for being Zionist. The protests at my house are personal to me, and they're the ones that are racist. then why are you attacking the college campus protest? Why are you saying no to this woman when she's talking about the college campus protest? Why bring up this if the discussion is the college campus protest? Dana Bash is not a genuine person. She is a shill for the Israeli government and the American government. That's all she cares about, her proximity to power.
Have you been to the ones at my house where they call me Zionist trash and call for the intifada against me?
Okay.
Is that
I'm not going to.
Man, well, okay. Dana Bash wasn't lying. She really wasn't here for debate. She wants to be able to say stuff, and she does not want this red-jacketed woman to be able to say anything.
Single out the extremists. You talked about the protests on campus.
Love this puffer jacket, bringing it back to the college campuses. Do not get dragged into this crazy fantasy Dana Bash has about herself, where she's like back in Nazi Germany and people are trying to kill her or something whenever she goes home.
Those are extremists.
Those are not anti-Semitic.
Those
are anti-Zionist.
Are you going to let me talk, or are you going to keep talking?
I love that. Are you going to let me talk, or are you going to keep talking? I mean, she's trying to say something.
Okay.
Go like that.
Are you done?
She's going to go to the office.
Yes. There are many genuine.
Just look at the emotion and the uncomfortability that Dana Bash has when she's confronted on this. She pretty much freaks out and she shuts down. She tries to stop her interlocutor from talking. She will switch back and forth from college protests to the protests at my house, evoke emotions, just be emotional too, and like try to look for a way out. You can see that she signals her campaign manager over here.
Pro-Palestinian protests.
Yes, there are. Yes, there are.
What I am talking about are when people say from the river to the sea, they want to do away with the state of Israel. I'm not.
Jesus Christ. Now she's criticizing people for saying from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. Well, there's Gaza, and then there's also the West Bank. That's kind of like two parts of Palestine, right? The sea's on one side, the river is on the other side. I don't understand why the saying from the river to the sea demands the borders of Israel to get dissolved. Like you can easily say from the river to the sea and assume that it means Gaza and Palestine, because there is no connection between those two. So like how else are you going to say
when they come to my house and go to other places?
Except that the Likud government says from the river to the sea.
What?
Yes.
What, dude? Come on, Dana. It's time to confront Israel's version of From the River to the Sea. What is this article? So, I mean, just look at this. Israel. Where is Gaza? Where is Palestine in this map? It looks pretty much from the river to the sea to me. The slogan From the River to the Sea apparently has great power, so great that it led the U.S. House of Representatives to censure one of its members who invoked it, and the Columbia University to shut down two student organizations whose members repeated it. Jewish Voice for Peace and Students for Justice in Palestine. Other universities have since followed suit. Meanwhile, Israeli ministers were talking about inflicting Nakba 2023 on Gaza. Over 1.7 million Gazans have been forced from their homes, over 14,000 had been killed, and 30,000 wounded. Most hospitals have been put out of service in half the structures. Okay, so this is just describing the genocide. From the first day of this war, Defense Minister Yoav Gallant, who said Israel was fighting human animals, ordered the cutting off not only of electricity, but also supplies of water, medicine, food, and fuel. So, genocide, yeah, there we go. The crowning irony regarding claims about the hatefulness of such a phrase, one university administrator described it as genocidal, is that this idea is far more than a simple slogan where Israel is concerned. Rather, it captures the reality Israel has imposed on Palestine since 1967. Israel controls all the land between the Mediterranean and the Jordan River, an area that, for all intents and purposes, constitutes a single state under a single security regime and a single sovereignty. God damn, the nation coming through with some hot takes and good analysis. The drive to establish the greater land of Israel is the central ideological goal of the Likud party, which has dominated Israeli politics since 1977. The commitment to greater Israel was enshrined in the basic laws of the Israeli state in 2018 when the Knesset passed the Nation State of the Jewish People law. This law states that the right to self-national determination in Palestine is unique to the Jewish people. Great. And that the state views and developments, okay, so we have seen this before. Original party platform of the Likud party. This is the Jewish virtual library. So the right of the Jewish people to the land of Israel. The right of the Jewish people to the land of Israel is eternal and indisputable and is linked with the right to security and peace. Therefore, Judea and Samaria will not be handed to any foreign administration. Between the sea and the Jordan, there will only be Israeli sovereignty. This is the original party Okay, so literally in 1977, they were saying between the sea and Jordan, there will only be Israeli sovereignty. So, yeah, the Jordan River and the sea, that's pretty much it. And they're saying only Israeli sovereignty can exist. They're not even saying from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. First of all, that does not imply that Israel is destroyed. It simply implies that Israel no longer has control over Palestine, over the West Bank, over Gaza. These genocidal freaks, the Likud party, is talking about how only Israel will have sovereignty between the river and the sea. So that is straight up genocidal. And yeah, I encourage you to do your own research on this. Obviously, Dana Bash hasn't done her own research on this. She is a fascist genocidal freak, and she is refusing to educate herself on anything that she's talking about. Extremely disgusting stuff.
Talking about are when people say from the river to the sea, they want to do away with the state of Israel. I'm not done. When they come to my house and go to other places.
Except that the Likud government says from the river to the sea.
What?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, we're going to excuse.
That's
Okay. Love seeing this fucking freak getting called out like this.
The CNN host said something so disgusting and so shameful and so pathetic that in a world that made sense, she would be forced to come out and apologize or lose her job. That's how bad this is, what you're about to see. She's doing this segment here talking about the Nazis who were marching in Ohio, okay? Listen to what she says.
Let you go. I want to talk about something that happened over the weekend, not in your district, in Columbus. A group of neo-Nazis paraded through that city wearing, waving swastikas, covering their faces. This is not the first time this sort of thing has happened in Ohio in particular, and of course it's continuing to spread. We don't know what side of the aisle this comes from. I mean, typically neo-Nazis are for the far right. Yeah. You had protests from the far left at your house.
Correct.
We don't.
Okay, so obviously Kyle does a great job of ripping into her. This is the exact same thing that we're seeing with Ethan Klein. If you are getting yelled at by the left, then nothing is too much from the right. Dana Bash gets yelled at by this sweet old lady. Dana Bash apparently has like protests outside her house calling her Zionist trash, which, let's just be honest, she is. Dana Bash has consistently called out college campus protests, saying that they're being anti-Semitic. And now she sees a straight up neo-Nazi march in Ohio and she says, we don't know which side of the aisle this is coming from. Usually Nazis are conservative, like far right extremist conservatives. I mean, it's not like Nazis threw socialists and communists into concentration camps and famously beat the shit out of them and killed them when Hitler was coming into power. It's not like their main enemy were the communists, were the socialists that actually wanted to make a material difference to the people's well-being and needs in Germany. I mean, I'm not even going to get into the parallels between the conservatives, like the conservative fascist party rising to power in Germany, and the conservative fascist party rising to power a few weeks ago in America. I'm not going to get into that right now. But Dana Bash is doing a great job of running propagandist defense for these conservatives. I know that you've had protests outside your house. Seems like you're kind of projecting there, Dana. I don't think this guy is saying that the leftists dressed up as Nazis and were carrying around swastika flags. I don't think that that's what that guy's doing. I think that you're projecting your own like wishes upon this man and his situation. She's getting protests from college campus guys, from college students, and people calling her Zionist. She sees Nazis marching and she says, we don't know where they're from. They could be actual Nazis or they could be leftists that are trying to end genocide. And how are they going to end genocide? By dressing up as Nazis.